let's move on to the Broncos. I'll leave it there. The Broncos. This is another team that has improved significantly.
I really like the Broncos.
Yeah,
I must admit.
they've done a really good job of improving this roster compared to how it was when Russ was at the helm. They've really brought in a lot of help for Bo Nix. Bo Nix, specifically that defense, man. The defense has really improved tremendously under Sean Payton. And yeah, man, just speak about the defense. What do you like about this defense?
Man, the Broncos defense is, if you play fantasy football, you need to be making sure you pick them up in a league or two, because they have dudes all over the field. We all know about defensive player of the year, Pat Surtain, but they also brought in Dre Greenlaw, who's coming back after another offseason recovering from that injury, that Achilles tear he had in the Super Bowl. Should be even better. They got Talanoa Hufanga, who was an all-pro safety when he was healthy. They drafted Jahdae Barron, who, in my opinion, was the number one corner coming out of the draft this past year. And they also got Zach Allen, who they just paid. So they got that continuity going. John Franklin Myers ain't no slouch on the defensive line on the edge. Nick Bonito, he was low-key in the running for Defensive Player of the Year at one point last season too. So they got dudes all over the place, man. I really like what they doing with this defense. Vance Joseph got these boys playing. As long as Sean Payton holds up his end of the bargain on the offensive end and have Bo Nix looking like a really solid QB like last year. Bo Nix surprised me last year, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm expecting progression out of them. They just paid Cortland Sutton, so you don't have to worry about that. My problem with the Broncos defense, they solid. I have really nothing to say bad about the defense, but offensively, I do think the lack of run game could be a problem. You got J.K. Dobbins, who actually, he started off the season very strong last year, ended up getting hurt, and then kind of trailed off. They did draft R.J. Harvey, which was a good pick. They still have Estime and Jaleel McLaughlin. Jaleel McLaughlin is a really good outside the backfield pass catcher. But I do think they just need something, like they need a solidified guy that can just tote the rock and be the primary ball handler without having to worry about injuries and none of that stuff. And, tight end room, they did get Ingram, who had a really solid year last year, Evan Ingram, that is. Adam Trotman, one of those tight ends that can do pretty much everything, mostly blocker guy. But yeah, this is going to be, like I said, this is them and the Chargers honestly can win 10 plus games apiece. And I do think that the way the standings work, it's going to be separated maybe a half a game or so. Some tiebreaker nonsense, in my opinion, is going to happen. So yeah, I really expect some solid stuff out of the Broncos and Sean Payton's third year? Is it second year?
Third. Remember, they had that 1 year with Russ.
Oh yeah.
Had that 1 year.
I'm expecting some good stuff out of the third year of Sean Payton's regime for this Broncos team.
Yeah, I think it just boils down to the progression of Bo Nix at the end of the day. I believe he has enough pieces on defense, and offensively, it's not the greatest pieces in the world, but I think he can make it work. I believe it all depends on him. Is he going to progress or is he going to plateau? Remains to be seen, but that's really what it boils down to for me. It's the development of Bo Nix. How better is he going to be in 2025? Because if you remember, late in the season, he was getting it going. Like, he was on fire that last month, I believe. It was at the last month of the season. And can he put that to the 2025 season, or are we going to see that Bo Nix, what he looked like against the Bills in the playoffs? So we'll see. But it all boils down to Bo Nix for me. I think this team is good enough to compete. Let's rank all these teams real quick. Number one for me, I'm obviously going to go with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid. They have a pretty decent roster. They've made the Super Bowl 3 straight years. They have 3 Super Bowls. I got to go with the Chiefs at number one. The number 2, I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert, with Jim Harbaugh. The fact that they're improving that offense, the fact that they still have a really good defense. I like what they're doing. Amarion Hampton. They have a really good roster. They finally giving Justin Herbert some pieces to work with. The number 3, I'm going to go with the Broncos, Bo Nix, Sean Payton. That defense looks absolutely amazing. I would be surprised if it's not a top 5 defense in the NFL this year. It looks like it's going to be an elite defense. They drafted Jade Barron. So they have some pieces, even on offense to a certain extent. I would like their offensive pieces to be a little bit better. Another really good wide receiver alongside Cortland Sutton would be nice, but they can make it work. They made it work last year, so I expect them to be okay. Their offensive line is pretty decent as well. They brought in RJ Harvey, like you mentioned, and they also brought in Evan Ingram, who's a pretty decent passing tight end. So that's what I have. And then 4, I have the Raiders. Obviously, I just don't think they have the requisite talent to compete on a level that will prevail them over the Broncos or the Chargers or the Chiefs. So that is my rankings. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to go the same order. Chiefs number one, reigning Super Bowl participants. They made the last 3 Super Bowls. I feel like it would be malpractice to not put them as the number one. They haven't given us a reason to really not crown them as anything, because we all know the greatness of Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo as well. So I feel like it's clear cut. They're going to be number one in the division. 2, I'm going Chargers as well. They have the quarterback advantage over the Broncos, but they still have, Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. He really overachieved his first year, in my opinion. And then they went and drafted some solid. They went and got run game help. They drafted Marlon Hampton in the first. They went as Najee Harris, even though he's recovering from a firework injury. That still helped regardless. I feel like they got better compared to last year in that department. Lad McConkey, who knows, he may get 1,200 yards this year, because he was hooping as a rookie. QJ unfortunately still can't catch, but I still like what they got on the defensive side of the ball, and Jim Harbaugh gonna have them guys ready to play hard week in and week out. Just need Justin Herbert to show up in January. 3, I'm going Broncos, because they another team I feel like overachieved last year, but the foundation is really solid, especially on the defense. And that defense, like you said, they should be a top 5 unit throughout the season. And on the offensive end, they getting Courtland Sutton back, re-signed, don't have to worry about no contract foolishness. And Bo Nix second year, unlike another team, Bo Nix should develop a little more. Sean Payton knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. Run game could be a little lackluster for what you want to do, but maybe RJ Harvey has a breakout type season like a Bucky Irvin or something. Who knows? So yeah, Broncos is 3, and for the 4th team would obviously be the Raiders. They just aren't there talent-wise yet, and it's a first year of a new system and scheme, and they're really just trying to establish that culture, like we said before. So yeah, that's how to go. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.